welcome to the Ridgewood Guild International Film Festival. This is our interview with you, Sriram, and I'm sorry I don't pronounce your name right. Papolu, Papolu, Papolu.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, when and how did you first become involved with films in general? What triggered you to get into this, this industry?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I think like a freshman or a sophomore, one of my buddies made this really funny video, and he showed it to the class and the school, and everybody loved it. And I was like, man, that's awesome. Like, I want to make funny videos too. So I started making like funny videos with my friends, like just with our cell phones and stuff, and we just posted them on YouTube. And I like the feeling of like sharing like funny moments and just being a goofball and having fun. And then slowly, naturally develop into like, all right, now for our funny skits and videos, we're gonna get a camera. We're gonna do this. Oh, wait, holy crap! Now we can actually make a movie. We can actually make real movies, and it just kept evolving. And now we're here, where we're like, like taking some bigger steps.
So as you were sharing these videos on YouTube or other media, what kind of like audience were you getting? Like, did you see a trend in terms of your audience potentially growing, and what kind of feedback did you get?
Oh, it was just all like the kids from high school. It's like the high school kids. Like some teachers used to watch, but it was mostly like a very local and general audience. Like maybe I don't know the analytics of YouTube.
Hmm.
We only got like maybe a few hundred, maybe 1,000 or 2,000 for a good video. So it was just really local audience. It was just a bunch of kids in our area.
Hmm. Nice. And then how did you come up with the idea for this film, Bru'dhars? Bru'dhars, is that how you
Mm.
say it?
It's just brothers with the
Or
cool
brothers, okay. So
spelling.
the full form of brothers. So cool.
Yeah.
And is that what you were trying to depict in the movie when the brothers were fighting with each other? Like they're, you got to be cool brothers. Therefore, you kind of tend to understand each other's emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah. So this film stemmed like a lot from my personal life,
uh-huh.
and like some of the challenges I had growing up, with family and with people and myself, and like dealing with the biggest issue in with the main character, the older brother, is like is resentment. So he had to um deal with a lot of resentment and emotional like pain, and he was holding on to unnecessarily. And like we all know how like resentment's like a big poison, it destroys everything. So he had to figure out how to make sure that like he first had to realize what was happening, and then have the awareness to realize it and then fix it. And that's what I did in my own life, and that's helped me. So that's what I wanted to show in the film.
And is that your like real life scenario? You have one older brother, or do you have other siblings as well?
I have a younger brother. I have a younger brother. Yeah.
Okay. So what did you have similar emotions with your younger brother, or you realized from your interaction with your older brother?
No, I did. I did. When I was very when I was like at that age, like the ages are different than real life, but like when I was like much younger and my later brother was much younger, yes, we had those emotions.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm super like loving guy and all and everything, but like there was still in me there was a lot of resentment. There was a lot of negative emotions stemming from different situations in my upbringing and the surroundings. So it was very volatile. So I could be like super loving in one day, and I could try to beat the crap out of you the next day. It was very crazy,
Mhm.
but internally.
Yeah, I can relate to that because I'm an older brother and I used to give my younger brother like math problems, like real complicated ones where he wouldn't know the concepts, but I would want him to
Mm.
kind of try to give it a shot anyway, with based on whatever little knowledge he has. And this is when he was like in fourth or fifth grade, and we used to like fight over it because I would, give him like 20% or 30% marks. No wonder he got.
Yeah, it's just like silly stuff for no reason. Yeah, completely just silly stuff. You
So,
know.
so tell me something like, let's say if viewers are about to go see your film, how would you try to provide a little intro to our viewers in terms before they head to the theater to see the film?
Let's see. I would probably say it's take it as a very unique little glimpse. It's a slice of life into a subculture of American culture that's rarely ever like presented in a way like that. Because we we've all seen, stories of like, the Black community, the Hispanic community, the Asian community, but rarely we ever see the stories of the South Asian community, specifically Indian kids that are first gen Americans, that have the background of, the classical Indian Eastern culture, but they're brought up and raised in the Western environment, and it's like that cool. It's a very unique blend that's rarely ever seen, and there's like a lot of cool juice to it. So when you're going into it, come with curiosity. There's going to be a lot of relatability because we're mixing and like we have feet on either side. So I think there's a lot you can relate to and a lot to learn from at the same time. So it's a good blend.
Mhm.
Life.
And then while making this film, what kind of challenges did you experience, if any?
Yeah, just all the technical challenges. Shooting like because I had to wear all the hats, so it was a little bit frustrating at times, and also it was my first narrative project. So like it was like film school, like learning how to direct, learning how to shoot, learning how to edit, learning how to write. Um, crew, you don't got too much cash, so you gotta get your friends from down the street, teaching them like what you know, and then trying to get everyone like, all right, guys, let's do it, let's do it. Editing and like the whole post process, and getting like raising like money and working to like get the film into post, so you can get the sound mix, the original score, the festival submission fees. But like the whole thing was just like a big learning experience, first time, so it's always a little bit challenging, but very very fun.
So how many people were helping you make this film, roughly?
Let's see. I think maybe like it wasn't ever like many people besides the actors who were consistently there.
Mhm.
So it was like me, the actors, my little brother, and like friends from across the neighborhood that would come in whenever they had time. So like, this kid may have like time for this weekend, but next weekend or every weekend ever he can't come back. So like whoever can come, they would come and help. Maybe like 20 people.
Mhm. So I was reading a little bit about on this film and yourself as well. I do know that you've showcased this film in other festivals as well. Can you share some of the experiences that you've had in other festivals, whether virtual or in person?
Yeah, so one of my favorite festivals was COSAF in Tasvir. It was a coalition this year of all these really South like large South Asian specific festivals. It was a really fun experience, and it was hosted very well virtually. Um, and it felt very connecting because I don't know, the way they ran it was really nice in the sense like we had private rooms and time to like meet with the other filmmakers, and there was like some bigger stars from the South Asian community, like people that you see their face and you're like, oh man, like I've seen this guy's movies. There was a little bit of grandness to it, and it was nice. I think the film was very well received. It was very in a sense like controversial, or it was new. It's very in your face almost.
Mhm.
So people I think were not used to hearing such a voice and presented in such a way. Other festivals I've played at, it was really not even an experience, to be honest, because like they played it, there wasn't really like connection like this where there's interviews and chats. It's just like play it, they stream it. I don't know what's going on. I really don't even know the dates. I don't know who watched it when they watched it. Like it was yeah, I don't think festivals were ready to handle COVID and stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, so when we talk about like South Asians or Desi community, the general perception is they're all like nice people, talk nicely, very calm and cool and collective. But in this film, especially the older brother has a lot of strong emotions. Like he gets angry, he starts to he wants to almost pick a fight with people who call him weak. What is the underlying message to the viewers, if any, specifically for the American Indians, right? Like is it more like you shouldn't be holding back your emotions like the younger brother did? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so definitely. So the biggest thing I see with the South Asian community, a lot of Indian kids growing up with me and around me and myself, is like um, people are always afraid to they're uncomfortable expressing themselves honestly and being direct and being straightforward, standing up for oneself and their values. And just giving themselves authentically to the world. They're very scarce. So what happens is a lot of these people they retreat inside and they come with the shell, right? And they don't express themselves honestly. They don't stand their ground when they have to. They let the world push them around because who knows what the circumstances. That's what I generally see, and it doesn't matter who does it. But anytime that you're not being honest with yourself and other people and not expressing yourself honestly, that builds resentment. And if that resentment grows, is going to eventually destroy you. You're going to either destroy yourself in a very negative way, or you're going to outlet that rage and that anger in a very either violent or negative way. It's going to build up and it's going to cause a lot of problems. So, like, what I see is a lot of these people in the public setting, they're letting themselves get pushed around. They're not taking the right actions in their lives. So, like, they're not being direct with themselves, and they're not being straightforward, and like just being like a man. And then they come home and they're like, man, I hate it. I hate what I'm doing. And then that resentment builds, and then they unleash it on people that don't need to receive that.
Right, like their family members or
Mm-hmm.
people who are vulnerable potentially, but close to them.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, do you think racism has any role to play in the upbringing of South Asian kids in America in general? Like,
There's definitely like a little bit, but not really. I think racism is definitely, sure, we can always say it's there. That's but it's not something that I don't think anyone, like, if you mentally don't allow it to affect you, it can't affect you. Because I never felt racism affect me. Like, yes, there were situations where, like, yes, things were a little shifty, but I always was able to overcome it mentally. But I do think that a lot of people crutch themselves. They always feel like, because I'm South Asian, because I'm this, like, they have this mental defect in the sense, like, they crush themselves in the fact that they think that they're, like, not like everybody else, or they're at a disadvantage for some reason. Like, instead of taking pride, instead of, like, understanding, dude, it's just like a color, man. Like, it's not really a big deal. So it's like just a mental thing, that's for sure.
that holds them back to behave naturally.
Exactly. Yeah, they're like some guys are like, I remember when I was making this movie, they're like, "Man, that's awesome, bro, but like, listen, man, you're like a brown guy. Like, this is America. Like, like, no Indian guys making Hollywood films and shit. Like, no one's doing that. Like, that's awesome, bro, but like, don't waste your time. Like, that stuff is there. Like, it's just like, it's just ignorance. It's a coward's way out to give yourself an excuse, such as something like racism, which is like just, it's not, if you don't believe it, it's not gonna affect your life.
It's
You
almost like
easily overcome it.
your roadblocks are blocking you from your own progress, right? I mean,
Exactly, exactly. There's always a way to overcome it. And there's a lot of people, examples that have done it, so it's not a big deal.
well, anything else? Those are the only questions I had. Anything else you would like to share? We hope to see you one day. Well, we're seeing you virtually, but we hope to see you in person in the future. But for this show, do you have anything else that you would like to share to our viewers?
Let's see. I would say, if you're a filmmaker, man, enjoy and really enjoy making films, and just, I would say, have as much fun as you can. Um, of course, because I took, when I was making Brothers, I think I took things too seriously, and I did not have as much fun as I could, and as much uh, just like ease in myself. And yeah, definitely don't take things too seriously. Just have a blast of a time with your friends and the people that you're making stuff with, and really enjoy the process. Everything always has an opportunity to have a lot of fun, and we always tend to rip ourselves out of it for some reason. So yeah, get rid of that, enjoy it, and it's going to turn out great.
Well, thanks for that message, Sriram, and we hope you take it easy in your future films, and we wish you a lot of success in your future filmmaking.
Thank you, appreciate it. Wonderful conversation.